You're watching Capitol View, Sunday morning talk focused on the political scene in Arkansas.
Well, to celebrate the 10 years of Capitol View, we've been sitting down with previous hosts of the show. This week, I sat down with Jay Bir, who hosted the program during the COVID-19 year. Good to see you.
Always a pleasure.
You doing well?
I'm surviving. I almost did the intro for you. I was looking, because I used to sit here.
You were looking for the teleprompter,
yeah, I was
and
over
there's
here.
nothing in it. So,
yeah, and then they cut to the camera over this way, and I'm like, it's not my show still.
We do some things differently now. It's about me, Jay. It's not about you anymore, okay?
I know, that's the biggest adjustment that I've got to make here, so. But let me ask you something here. How's the show been? How are you adjusting to life back here?
It's been good. It's been good. You know, we kicked it off 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And with David Goins, started it. And we had him on a few weeks ago. It was great to catch up with him. But 10 years is a long time. It's been a good run. I appreciate you guys keeping it going.
Yeah.
Well, I did something else and then came back, but it's been good coming back over
We've
here.
Carried the banner for you, all right.
A lot of old friends still work here that I kept relationships with, and it's just been fun to have two programs now because I've got Top Business and Politics,
exactly,
so I can honestly kind of fill an hour every week with more politics than people really probably care to hear about.
Ain't that the truth?
But it's been good.
Good.
What when you came into the role over here, you didn't have a big political background at the time, really. So I guess you covered some news and stuff like that.
Yeah,
what was the learning curve for you on that? So
well, for me, and what's funny is like one of the funniest stories is the first time that I actually sat in the chair here, Ed, one of our head production guy, he came into the studio back here and he was like, "Oh, I'm ready to watch the show begin, the circus begin." And I go through the show and everybody kind of knows me as I was the class clown here in essence. So to kind of plop me into this more serious setting, everybody was like, "Oh, okay, let's check this thing out." And I went through the show, did the whole thing, and he actually came out and was like, I'm impressed because I have more of a sports background, which most of your viewers kind of remember that from, especially with it now being kind of the Friday night time of year, which is always fun, and I do kind of miss some of that as well. But I really do miss the chair here. Although since you switch things up, this is where I used to sit, so it's real comfortable over here. But that's one of the funniest parts of that thing. But for me personally, I mean, hey, I'd been over there across the way for several years because I always tagged along with Drew. I tagged along with David and Jesse. So it's like I kind of knew what was going on, who the main players were, and I would advise some of the times whenever we had some backups that they took vacations and stuff. I'm like, hey, you want to talk to so and so. So in that regard, I was a little ahead of the curve from any other newbie that may have come in here. So for me, it was fairly seamless. You kind of had to find your way a little bit, at least for me. Coming from, like I said, more of a sportsy background. I'm kind of a clown where it's like, okay, dial that back a little bit.
Well, you apparently did well enough with it that Governor Hutchinson picked you up in his office, and now you're over at the Department of Transformational Services.
Transformation and Shared Services.
There you go, and Shared Services there. So I guess give everybody a little bit about what you did after you left Capitol View.
So when I left there, like you said, I went into Governor Hutchinson's office. I was one of our agency liaisons, and it's kind of we're sort of the middlemen, and all executives kind of have something similar to it. So I handled affairs with DF&A, with the Department of Ed, and then I took on RDOT after a little while, and so we're kind of in all those discussions that are going on with those, kind of some of the day-to-day minutia that would go on with those departments. So it was a lot of fun, and I got into more stuff than I ever cared to get into. I know when there was talk at one point, I know a lot of states were wanting to suspend the gas tax and stuff. Like I learned more about the gas tax than I ever cared to know about from this point forward. And we kind of that was one of the big things I remember advising him on. Like, hey, boss, don't do it. It doesn't do what you think it does. And to his credit, he actually listened to us, which I was like, oh wow, so we do have a purpose here. But it was good. And then once the regime changed, new coach. Want to bring in their own assistants, which I kind of understood, and they saw a better fit for me over at employee benefits and under Transformation Shared Services. So there was a need there for to kind of beef up their communications and things like that. So I'm over there trying to kind of help be informative about the state employees and the school teachers' health insurance and things like that.
Well, keep us informed on what's going on in that space as well. So you've always got an opportunity to come on the show. I'm not sure that you'll ever get the chance.
We'll see.
in that
Yeah,
role.
you never
We'll
know.
see.
You never
But
know.
anyhow, thank you for keeping the torch burning until,
Absolutely,
for these
absolutely.
last 10 years. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah,
Jay.
this has been fun, and just kind of personally, I've really enjoyed, kind of watching all that. Because like I said, I used to tag team with David and Drew and Jesse, and then to kind of watch their stories is always kind of fun, and you kind of reminisce on some of those fun things that happened. And I know for me, for example, like I took over during all the COVID
That's right.
stuff. So, I mean, that was just a wild time and kind of probably what got me my job because, I mean, just truth be told, I didn't ask a bunch of silly questions in a lot of those press conferences. So I think he kind of saw the potential after that.
That's all right. All right, Jay, thank you so much for
bet.
being with us. That's Jay Bir, former Capitol View host. Just wanted you guys to catch up on what he's had going on. We're back to wrap up right after this.